And we are back. Welcome to Jamie Reviews. I am James Michael, and as some of you know, one of my goals for 2018 was to review some of the quote non-mainstream brands. And this time, I wanted to give a brand called Newton a try. So we were able to get one of their top of the line models to really test out what Newton is all about. This is our review of the Newton Gravity 7. And to help me with this review, I had to call up my guy Zach. Zach enjoys eating steaks and growing beards. So Newton may not be a huge brand, but they do have a pretty loyal fan base. They seem to cater to those who prefer a more natural type of running shoe. The claim is that their shoes are backed by research and are the best shoes for a more natural ride. And that's all good and dandy, but let's see for ourselves what the Gravity 7 has to offer. So the upper uses an engineered 4-way stretch mesh with some simple overlays that help maintain the structure. We found the upper to breathe well, especially during our 90-degree day for this recording session. And so while being breathable, we felt the upper was still stable enough to keep our foot in place, while still having some give. The toe box room was plenty, and the pre-molded heel counter did its job as far as keeping the shoe locked in and secure. We had no heel slipping, no rubbing, or hot spots during either of our runs. Zach had mentioned that in older models of the Gravity, he had issues with the tongue being too thin and causing some irritation, and that in this model, the extra bit of padding in the tongue had fixed that problem, and it was all good. The midsole uses what Newton calls their Newtonian foam. We found it to have a more responsive feel to it. It really had that rebounding feel after every step while still providing enough cushion to get us through most runs. While going for longer distances, the comfort starts to fade away a bit faster than we would like. The shoe stays responsive, but it might not be enough if you are used to something on the softer side. So the outsole is where the shoe gets kind of interesting. So part of what makes Newton a Newton is typically having a lower drop and having mid-foot lugs on the bottom of the shoe. The midsole and the outsole are meant to work together in what Newton calls their action-reaction system. The general idea is that when your foot lands, the lugs are supposed to absorb the shock to allow you to land midfoot without sacrificing comfort. And this is kind of where we felt the shoe was either a hit or a miss. But I'll get back to that. The traction of the shoe is pretty good, and I would almost say you could use these on a light trail if you wanted. But this is meant as a road shoe, and the shoe has decent flexibility, maintaining that idea of a more natural ride. So if you're someone who midfoot strikes or wants to become a midfoot striker, this may work well for you. Typically I'll run midfoot, and the feeling of the lugs being there just never felt right. And if anything, it became more of a distraction. Zach, on the other hand, was able to run smooth like butter with no issues. So when looking at the shoe overall, we would say that the upper is good, the ride is responsive, and it's honestly going to come down to whether or not you prefer to have the feeling of the lugs in the midfoot. Like I had said, I can see the shoe being a love or a hate type of shoe. I would say that if you are a Newton fan, it seems to be a solid option. But if you're used to something more traditional, it may take time to adjust to the feeling of the shoe. So when it comes to the Newton Gravity 7, it's going to be one of those split decisions.
Test your might.
Thanks for watching, and shout out to Zach and his beard. Go ahead and give him a follow on the IG. And guys, I'm really curious. For any of those who ran in the Gravity or a similar Newton shoe, what is your verdict on it? Are we liking it? Are we not? Let me know. With that said, the road to 10K subs continues. Be sure to like, subscribe, and if you can, support the channel on Patreon. I'd really appreciate it, because I need groceries. And with that said, I will see you guys in the comment section down below. Later.
Flawless victory.